So you look at what I was doing since the early 80s, and then you realize that I always believed and advocated for the value of breaking and hip hop. I continued through the 80s and then became one of the handful of people that continue to do it. And I was not just practicing it, I did shows, I did competitions, I created the first breaking magazine in the world with Swift Rock. We created the first VHS tape to buy in the world, created the first breaking solo VHS in the world. I wrote the first book on breaking from an artist perspective in the world. I created the first tutorial DVD in the world. I was also one of the first hip-hoppers that set foot on the dance theater stage since I was part of Get Original. But anyway, everything I did there was a knowledge of the value, the societal, the cultural, the spiritual, the personal, and the monetary value that we can create with our art forms. Now, all the people that say it shouldn't go to the Olympics or it should not be at bigger competitions remind me of those artists that paint incredible pieces, but that are not aware of how their craft and their creativity can actually change society for the better. They they learned how to ennoble their lives by working on it every day, but they either don't realize it or they are pretty egotistical about it, sharing these skills to a broader audience. Of course, some of them also got burned and exploited. That's another very personal story, which is also in the history of breaking still quite evident with many people. If we're looking at what happened in 1984 and this whole exploitation era. But think how this value can actually enhance somebody's lifestyle and can change the world in the long run. I know I am responsible for many breakers to even start getting into it. So of course I feel that it is also my responsibility to guide people into a brighter future with great possibilities. The first step here is always the acknowledgement of value, I believe. It helped me to live my life in freedom in a community of all colors, cultures, languages, and social status. I have students that made it from broken and broke households into a healthy lifestyle. And I think it's a rich kid's mentality to think it would be better if the dance lived on in the underground only. I always thought that hip-hop was a way of getting out of misery. I want to function as an example here, paving the way and if necessary take people by the hand if I have to. Showing people that is possible. Where would I be today if it wasn't for films like Wild Style, Beat Street, Style Wars and the like? They were all commercially driven projects that have shown the world what hip-hop is. Most people in the world got to dance breaking due to projects where people realized the value of what was happening and thought it was a good idea if they could share it with the rest of the world. So basically, the more people that will see good breaking will also eventually respect the art form. Then they will not just try to emulate the moves, but I'm sure that they want to understand the movement behind it. And that's much better than to dance in my basement, hiding and being looked at like I'm crazy, that I still spin on my head at age 50 and plus. Also much better than looking at thousands of kids squeezed into standards and norms given by society without any way out. Being creative helps them to overcome these daily impediments. Having fun playing around in the realms of breaking forms the ability to form self-esteem, character, and most of all probably to learn tackling problems from different angles, forming alternatives to what the society wants to give you.